Why is such an absurd schoolyard prank like Wedgies a kink for certain people? Why do some people find it pretty funny and other people not so funny? Does it make me gay for desiring it only from the same gender as I am, even if I only date the opposite gender? Find out more in our short documentary that we're calling Wedgie Pride. So I know that some people have been feeling very weird about wedgies, so let's talk about why. The reason that you feel weird about wedgies is because they are exactly that. They're weird. Like, weird as fuck. Being weird doesn't necessarily mean it is a bad thing. It is just simply that. It's different. It's not of the norm, and that's okay. Who says being normal is cool anyways? The kicker about these things is that it's only weird to people who don't understand them. So the more people that you find that either love the same thing that you love or just even understand it to be able to discuss it, then it's not necessarily weird anymore. Another reason that you might feel super weird about wedgies is because of the fact that they are actually a kink. Whether it gives you a good laugh or it gets your rocks off, this is a kink. Anything that falls outside of the vanilla, happy, adult fun time that we all like to have fun with, yeah, that's considered a kink. And since kinks are technically not part of the world of heteronormative, that technically makes this queer. So yes, wedgies are inherently queer. I don't care if you're the most machoist of the dudes, giving it to the most prettiest of the women. This is still not considered normal. Wedgies are about as normal as people trying to hold on to the ideals of bully and nerd culture being the only way and the right way of accessing the wedgie community and wedgies themselves. If we didn't see it in school, then we saw it on television. If we couldn't see it on television, we'll find it on YouTube. Wedgies have always been centered around bully and nerd culture, or whatever power struggle that is at the time. We won't sit and act like that there was no such thing as girl bullies, but for the most part, this was more on the same sex side. So you might see more often than not boys getting wedgied by other boys, and maybe every now and then you might see a girl getting a wedgie by another girl. This is also what led into why the community was even created, because there was not a lot of girls getting wedgied and a lot of guys wanted to see more girls getting wedgied, hence the wedgie community was born. Now, of course, in today's time, there's more male-dominated and more queer-identifying, but even at the inception of the community, keep in mind, we were created due to a lack of something, because the lack of something itself is not normal. Girls usually don't get wedgied, at least in the way that we want to see it, right? So to go back to my earlier point, there are two types of people in the community. There's people who have experienced this kink and people who desire to experience the kink. The people who have experienced the kink has a different relationship to it. For some people like me, it's a place of pleasure, while for some other people, it may be a place of trauma. For people like me, I know I would die of embarrassment if somebody were to give me a wedgie in public, whereas for someone like you, you may honestly melt in all goodness. I bring up these things because there's always a discourse about if a man can be straight or not and like wedgies. My answer to that is honestly, we can't define that for him. That ultimately is going to come down to his experiences and how he chooses to identify from that point on. I think the same can be said about the guy who desires, to be bullied, or desires, all these things that he's seen on television. They both want to live out somebody's experience, whether it's their own or somebody else's. It's just a little bit deeper than, oh my God, you found another guy handsome, you're gay. To get my own personal story, I'm considered bisexual. However, I've never had an interest in seeing women get wedgied, and I think that's because of my understanding of wedgies themselves. I've always seen wedgies as like an aggressive sport to be able to, humiliate or embarrass other dudes. And I think how I associate women sometimes is that I don't associate them as people I would like to embarrass or make fun of, I guess. So I've never had an interest. But I know for a fact if I didn't see Eddie getting a wedgie, maybe I saw Marie or Sarah or somebody else getting a wedgie, we could probably be having another conversation. In conclusion, there are many people in the community that live very healthy lives, have girlfriends but are able to get wedgied by their boys. There's a very big world out there waiting for you. If you want to learn more about this, find community, make some friends, make some connections with people. The greatest way to better understand things is to share dialogue. I hope that this video inspires you to define yourself outside of just the black and white norms of just either you're straight or you're gay. Just remember that even if you're the subbiest of the subs, can't nobody define you but you, and always stay wedgied. Thank you all for watching this video.